Hey cool kids, it's your girl Lady Pelvic of Pelvic Gaming, and I did it. I braved through another Ys game. If you're new here, I have a love-hate relationship with this series, and having only played 2 Ys games before Origin, I'm of the unpopular mindset of not enjoying Ys 8, but loving Memories of Celceta. And Ys Origin is different from both. Originally released in America in 2012, I played it on the Switch, which was released in 2020. And it was released for like everything: PC, Vita, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and even Xbox One. Before we begin, thank you so much Uriku-san1 for gifting me yet another Falcom game. Ys Origin is a prequel to Ys 1, which I have never played, but I've watched a whole ass Let's Play of Ys 1 and 2. And holy shit, some of the connections are awesome. You're given the option of 2 characters to start, neither being Ys's poster boy, Adol. Yes, this is the first and only Ys game where Adol isn't the protagonist, as Origin takes place 700 years before the first game. Instead, you're introduced to Unica, a melee fighter, or Hugo, the prodigy mage. Whoever you choose, you get the same opening, vividly painting a picture of the prosperous land of Ys, ruled by 2 gentle and kind twin goddesses and 6 priests. With a powerful orb known as the Black Pearl, Ys was granted the miracle of magic. However, out of nowhere, demons suddenly attacked. The goddesses sent Ys skyward to escape the assault. However, the demons quickly erected a tower to take the battle to the sky. Amidst shooting to the heavens, the goddesses went missing. The holy priests of Ys sent their finest knights and mages to the surface to find and escort the goddesses safely back home. However, the search party is struck and separated upon arrival, and that's where our story begins. Now, usually I hate when the quote-unquote action has already happened. Demons attacking, Ys ascending, these are all things you want to experience. But another way to look at it is they cut out the fluff. No reason to start in Ys talking to people we won't see for majority of the game. We have a goal right out the gate. Mentioned before, you have the option of 2 characters, and you'll have to play both of them to unlock the third. This is something that all games with a multi-character route have to be careful with. You're asking the player to play your game multiple times to get the full story. Thankfully, each playthrough is no more than 10 hours. So it's not terrible, and each character is vastly different from the last. Yes, in terms of gameplay, but also in personality. And for me, the personality is what made me want to continue playing. I started with Unica, daughter of a proud warrior and priest. She has incredible strength, however, despite being born of a magic user, cannot wield magic herself. Unica is an apprentice knight, following in her father's footsteps. She's so caring and full of heart. She's an example of what I would like to see in more characters. She's not a soft girl per se. She felt real. She was a novice for sure, but she wasn't clumsy or stupid. She had doubts and struggles and fought through them admirably without seeming corny. I love Unica Tova. And then we have the complete opposite. Hugo, a prodigy mage. He is cold, witty, and very standoffish. I played Unica first, who was so warm and likable, and then switching to Hugo felt so refreshing. He is a grade A asshole, and is silver tongue proof for fantastic dialogue between the enemy and his comrades. Spoilers lightly detailing the third playable character. I won't ruin his story, but more covering who he is and his playstyle. If you're not interested, please skip to this number right here. And in 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Hugo's brother is indeed the third main character. In terms of personality, he's my least favorite, as he's a combination of Unica and Hugo. He's not a bad character at all, I just prefer my extremes. Toll focuses on quick and close range combat. His mode offers a few differences in battle, platforming, and faces the true final boss. Each story follows the same basic structure, but their struggles and scenes were very different. You meet different characters and get different pieces of information. And correct me if I'm wrong, Falcom Hive, the third character's route is canon, which I would personally argue just a wee bit. I feel like parts of different stories make up the true canon. Otherwise, Hugo and Unica are borderline irrelevant. This is an excellent segue into gameplay, which further pulls the characters apart, justifying their different journeys in the same tower. Ys, above all else, is known and praised for its gameplay. Ys Origin is no different. Each character plays very differently. Unica is a melee axe sword fighter. It's all about getting up close and personal, while Hugo, I feel, should be played at long range, but your girl just loves melee, so she got up close and personal with him too. But he has skills that damages those who are in close proximity to him, so it all worked out. As you scale the tower, you find artifacts, some which grant you skills. Each character has 3. Unica's whirlwind hits enemies around her, a lightning-infused strike that can break walls, or shooting flames at enemies. Hugo can create a damage shield around himself, leave mines, and create flame wheels around him. Each of these skills can be charged to become more effective in combat. You have a boost cage that, depending on your character, will increase your speed, damage, and range, and make all damage you take halved. You'll also notice enemies drop various colored bottles. Pick those up to slaughter more enemies to pick up more. These are multipliers to your attack, defense, and MP, and an experience multiplier is active based on your hit combos. And most importantly, pick up those purple crystals. They're SP or spirit points to spend later. Ys Origin thankfully isn't a very grindy game, as it shouldn't be considering you'll be playing it 3 times. I will say Origin is simultaneously challenging and not. You can plow through hordes of enemies with ease by spamming skills, and the enemy variety is lacking. Once you meet one type of enemy, you'll find different color variations of them with an extra or new attack. Of course, if you want more challenge, you can set your difficulty at the start. Now where Origin becomes challenging is the bosses. On my first run with Unica, I died at almost every boss. And I want to say thank you to the devs for having an instant retry after death. In any other game, dying repeatedly would annoy me, but part of the fun is learning the boss patterns and how they change about midway in the fight. Ys Origin has some of my favorite bosses. The arthropod is just stupid fun and creative. The boss was smarter than I gave it credit for. Every single boss is incredibly satisfying to beat. If you find yourself struggling during a boss, leveling greatly boosts your attack, HP, and most importantly, your defense. Raising myself a level or 2 was a night and day difference. Another thing Ys is known for is exploration. It's not as open as Salsetta or Lacrimosa, but there are hidden paths here and there. Some need skills to uncover. While Ys Origin isn't the most exciting thing to look at, you should keep a watchful eye out for treasure. There could be jewels which are used to enhance the power of your skills, Claria ore to power up your weapon, Salsettan panaceas, armor, unique treasures that help you traverse lands, and Rhoda fruits, which are used to give to Ruse. You won't understand them, but know that they'll be worth your time. Look for demon statues, usually protected by enemies, but once unlocked, they can grant you blessings by spending SP. You can also teleport to those you've activated for quick traveling. Ys Origin has minimum puzzles, different variations depending on the character. If you find yourself stuck, you can always call a companion for a hint. Overall, I really enjoyed how smooth and fluid the combat was. It was quick, over before it even began. Exploration, I enjoyed the first time, and the other times are pretty similar. The gameplay at least changes from character to character. Where and how treasure is found usually isn't. After you beat the game, you'll have access to other modes. Arena, fight waves of enemies, earn experience to purchase minimal rewards. Time attack is essentially a boss rush mode, and speedrun, timing yourself. Now let's mosey on over to the graphics. I like them for the most part. The environments are fine. I always think it's a bold choice for games to set themselves in one area because it could get tiresome on the eyes. But being able to drastically change the look, color palette, environmental dangers kept it fresh. Where my problem lies is the characters themselves. They look like dolls with big ass eyes. I don't like it. And they have this clay-y look to them. I don't know, not a fan. I do, however, like the expressive portraits, although the change is very minimal, and I always appreciate a narrated cutscene with full imagery. The art direction is lovely, graphics are passable, sometimes it gets a bit busy on screen with the flashy combat and taking on hordes of enemies, but most of the time manageable, and I never suffered any frame rate drops. I played this in both handheld and docked for hours. Last, the soundtrack of Ys Origin. Like the games before it, it's great. Each floor has high energy music to get the blood pumping. Violent, synth, the good shit. Also, yes, there are familiar tracks of Ys 1 and 2 that you'll recognize. Boss fights have their own music, and they're also more tender tracks, which is what I usually lean towards in Ys games, because they're not something you hear often. This is actually the second area's track, probably the most calming of the areas. And of course, it's a water area. What is it with water areas being the most annoying but have the best music? Anyways, enjoy Water Prison. So this is what it's like to have fun with an Ys game again. Oh, it's lovely. I adored the characters, and I actually really enjoyed learning about the lore of Ys. I don't plan on playing Ys 1 and 2, not the Chronicles, which is a remake of the original Ys 1 and 2, or the original 1 and 2 for that matter. But like I said, I watched the Let's Plays, I'm on the wiki, I'm doing research. Like, I feel like an Ys aficionado. I'm not. But if you have played Ys 1 and 2, oh my god, you owe it to yourself to play Origins. And if you haven't played any of them, a lot of people say you should play Ys 1 and 2 before Origins, and you'd get these like, whoa, reactions. But honestly, I played Origins first and then watched Let's Plays of 1 and 2, and I had those same reactions, so... I also think for me, only playing 3 Ys games now, this was really interesting to see how like Ys has evolved. And I gotta say, I learned a lot from researching this game, especially watching Ys 1 and 2. Seeing where rubies, topaz, and emeralds came from are like slash, shoot, and strike, I think. And how it evolved to party members was like shocking to me. It was a lot of fun researching this game. The important thing here is Ys 1, 2, and Origin are super connected and should be played or watched around the same time to really soak in everything. Ys Origin is so rich in callbacks. The names, the bosses, the items, the music, oh, it's great. My biggest critique of this game is going through the tower 3 times. Even though, yes, the gameplay is different, yes, you get different cutscenes, you're still going through the tower 3 times. I kinda wish characters got shortcuts just to speed it up a little. In conclusion, I highly recommend Ys Origins. It's a short JRPG, less than 30 hours for a full playthrough, and especially if you want that Ys silky smooth but high action combat. Sprinkle in some interesting characters and you got yourself a damn good Ys game. Thank you so much for watching. Top box for more reviews like this, and the bottom box is my Let's Play channel. This also concludes Ys anything for a hot minute. I have no plans on playing Ys 9, hated the demo, people told me it expands on Ys 8's combat, no thank you. But you can look forward to coverage of Bravely Default 2. Anyways, I appreciate you, please consider joining the Patreon, $1 gets you into the Discord, love your face, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!